Hey Tom, I'm making this video for you of your new World Cup soccer because never really sold a phone over the text before and never had the person see that it actually worked. So just kick it on. Obviously, you know where you usually turn it on. And I don't, like I said, I don't really know Williams' system 3 through 7 as well as I know the rest of them as far as the mechanics and everything go. But I will tell you what I do know about it. This is actually the attract mode. It does not have a light show like you know, the later games do. It just basically has the flashing 1 up, 2 up, 3 up, and then it goes to 4 up, and then usually a 35 will go across the display. There it is, and it'll just change displays, and that's all I've ever seen it do. Right now it's got 4 credits in it, and that's no ball in play is what that is. So you start it up, and that's the start of the game. I got the volume turned down a little bit low here, but see if I can't play a game one-handed for you. And that was not very good. Okay, so it's ball 2. I don't really know the rules all that well of this game. Actually, I don't really know them at all. I haven't had it very long. But yeah, it's got a lot of kick-out holes, that's for sure. And then the last ball. But mainly I just wanted to see that, hey, it works. A couple of different features about this game are on the actual, this is actually the soundboard right here. You can see there's a red lever right there. Right there is a red lever. That's the volume knob. But this little red lever, you can flip it back and forth, and it actually changes the sounds to be more outer space versus trying to emulate chimes, because Williams was kind of worried about you know, chimes or people not having the sound chimes. This is for test mode. I'm not exactly sure how to do it, and of course the book doesn't really tell you, but if you go to the pin repair site, I'm guessing you have this somewhere. It actually explains how to go through test mode and stuff a lot better. It's kind of weird on how you got to get into it. Okay, so this is a hot tip right next to it here, and it's the exact same board set and everything. But what I wanted to show you is if for some reason you have a problem, what it looks like. So when you first turn the game on, there's LEDs right here, and what they're supposed to do is both supposed to turn on for about a half a second and then go out. And that signifies that your game is working. If they go on and stay on like that, that tells you there's a problem. And it doesn't tell you where or what the problem is. It's somewhere either on here or on here, because it has to go through this 40 pin, they call it an interconnect. And that's actually a high place where there's issues. You know, so well, hopefully that doesn't happen, but if it ever does, you know, and the thing doesn't boot up, you know, you just turn it off and turn it back on again, and you know, hopefully that would clear it up if that issue were to come up. Other things, so this is the power supply right here. This would be like the MPU board, and then this would be the driver board. there are fuses right here, listed. Actually, on your particular game, this fuse is not used. This is just on hot tip and the one before it. And then after that, there's actually a big fuse right down here on yours. And then what else? Yeah, well, basically your game works. And then, I remember that one time you had that shorted out socket that, was a terrible thing to find. Well, these sockets on this particular games, they don't short out, but they do have like bad connections. So you'll probably get one or two that start flickering or something like that. And you just kind of jiggle, adjust the bulb back and forth, or replace the socket. Somehow try to clean the socket if you can, or just replace it. And I'm trying to think about anything else to tell you. But yeah, the game works good. Oh yeah, the coin mechs. There's actually something called the lockout coil here. This thing, and it has to be energized in order for your coin mechs to work. Okay, so when you otherwise what happens is you put a quarter in, and the quarter just comes right back down to here. So when the power is off, somebody can't put a quarter in there. So when you so this coil is always on and always active. You can feel it. It's a little bit warm. It's just how they are. They just always stay on, and that's just what it is. You can cut it off if you want. It's no big deal. But then the coin slots will not accept coins unless you actually push this in. Like right now, it's locked in. I turn the game off, and you'll see it release. Okay, and so now you try to put a quarter in, and the quarter will just come out the return lane unless you actually push that in. So a lot of the older games have that. Almost all of them do, whereas almost all the newer ones do not. Or you can just coin it up by doing the old boom, 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 boom if you want, and that'll coin it up too. I'm gonna take the legs off, wrap them up. I do know that this front bracket was a little touchy, so when you go to put the thing back on, this particular one, just be a little bit, take a little extra time on this one. The other ones all seem to be solid, and I didn't have any issues with. I do know what I wanted to show you, and I want to put the camera down to show you this. And that's how the connectors all connect. Because you're taking this thing apart. Or actually, I'm taking it apart, you're putting it back together again. So in here, first let me show you what it looks like when it boots up correctly. So you see those LEDs right there? Boom. And that booted up, and the game's all working. So you got all your connectors, and you do leave the vast majority of them hooked up. Yeah, so here you don't use that fuse. There's actually a fuse down there, even though it's listed as one that you use. You don't. So just so you know. Okay, so you got your ground wire right here. Hook this up last, but you do need it. And the reason I say hook it up last is because if you hook it up first, and when it comes time to hook up the rest of the cables, you usually get them wrapped up in this thing, and then you can't pick up the play field. So there's a few connectors in here. I want you to see them because they basically, you got to do them all right. So you got this one. That's one you got to do. I'll undo all these later, but I'm just going to pull them all out. So you're going to have a bunch laying in the bottom of the cabinet. But the main thing is don't get the wrong ones plugged in. And you can pretty much only do it one way. But the main thing is like this black to black has to go black to black, and white to white has to go white to white. They are pinned out exactly the same. So if you stuck them, if you went black to white and white to black, you would totally kill your game. So don't ever do that. But for the most part, that's it. I think that's all of the connectors. There's like 5 or 6. And that's actually pretty easy. You don't have to push any onto the board at all. Yeah, so like I was saying, this interconnect is like a weak spot on these games. The battery is like a weak spot. This actually had an original battery pack with no acid damage, so I just stuck batteries in it. and it's good to go.